recent study shows credit card debt continues to be a long-term issue for so many Americans. Joining us from Navigator Credit Union is Regional Branch Administrator David Farley with some tips to help you work toward financial freedom. David, thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you on the show.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Yeah, this is really important, of course, and a lot of people are struggling with credit card debt and other debt, and I mean, it's really easy to get to that point, too, where you owe thousands and have a hard time paying it off, and all of those interest charges just keep adding up. So it's something that can really make a difference if people can get a hold of this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one area that people don't even really recognize is they get this debt built up, but they never actually take the time to sit down and look at it. So they never really face that number. And it just continues to grow and continues to grow, and it gets to being unsurmounting.
Yeah, first of all, I guess as far as the tips go, is people need to take a look at just how much they owe and put it on paper from various cards and other, whether it's a car note or whatever, all of your things that you have, and just kind of figure it out and figure out how to help pay it off.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that people don't really take into consideration is the different interest rates that those credit cards do have as well. And interest is compounding, some is a fixed rate interest. So I think it's important that they sit down and get their statements and actually look at what type of interest that they're paying on those credit cards and prioritize based on that.
Right, and first pay off the high interest debt. And a lot of times those are retail credit cards. And you could actually roll it over into a non-interest card for a year. Sometimes people do that. What are some other options if people can't pay it off right away, but they want to try to keep that interest down?
Yeah, absolutely. So debt consolidation is another really great option. Many people go and look at those small dollar loans to really chunk it out. And then another option that people don't really like is just to cut those unnecessary expenses. People don't really care for that hard truth because it's so challenging to actually sit down and budget and say, well, this coffee that's about $5 to $7 may not be the expense that I need every single day. Because when you look at that, it can be anywhere from $150 to $200 a month that we spend on some unnecessary expenses. So really targeting that and prioritizing paying down that credit card debt with that will help.
Right. I mean, if you could come up with that money, things that you can live without, then you could put that toward your credit card debt. So that's another good point. All right, David Farley from Navigator Credit Union, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having us.